Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of The World Today for the week. It is a Southwest network of Radio Nigeria and Ozono station comprising news, feature, sport and entertainment. In the lineup today, President Tinubu approves 27 road projects across 15 states. Federal High Court issues new practice directions for pre-election cases. On the foreign scene, UK to charge asylum seekers £10,000 before settlement. South Africa deploys police as anti-migrant protest loom. The matter today is on reviving moribund industries to tackle unemployment rate, while feature is on Okuku. My name is Dayo Adinuga. Sharing the microphone with me this afternoon is
Olubukola Enimola. Good afternoon. You can also listen to us on live stream via www.radionigeriaibadan.gov.ng or watch us live on Facebook at Premier FM 93.5. Your health matters. Stay warm as we experience rainfall. And now the news in detail. President Bola Tinubu has approved 27 road projects valued at over 3.9 trillion naira across 15 states as part of the federal government's drive to improve road infrastructure nationwide. Minister of Works David Umahi disclosed this while briefing journalists after the Federal Executive Council meeting held at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. According to the minister, the approved projects span Adamawa, Benue, Cross River, Ebonyi, Ekiti, Kogi, Kwara, Lagos, Niger, Ondo, Osun, Oyo, Plateau, Taraba and Yobe states. Umahi said the council approved the re-award of 409-kilometer dual carriageway project in Niger State under the tax credit scheme to businessman Aliko Dangote at a cost of 1.8 trillion naira. The minister stated that other approvals include 86 billion naira each for the reconstruction of the Enugu-Abakaliki Road with a flyover and Adipo Ajayi Tese Akpa Otokpo Road traversing Benue and Cross River State. Umahi also said the council approved the full business case for the operation and maintenance concession of Lagos-Ibadan Expressway and directed the commencement of reconstruction of failed sections along the Ibadan axis using concrete pavement. The minister further announced that the first 118-kilometer section of the Abuja-Kaduna-Kano highway, valued at 137 billion naira, has been completed.
The Federal High Court has issued pre-election practice directions 2026 for a fair, impartial and expeditious determination of pre-election cases across the country. The FHC's Director of Information, Dr. Catherine Obi Christopher, in a statement in Abuja said the new practice direction was issued by the Chief Judge, Justice John Soho. This, the Chief Justice J said, is an exercise of the powers conferred on him by virtue of sections 254 and 285, 9, 10 and 14 of the 1999 Constitution as amended sections 29.5 and 88.2 of the Electoral Act 2026 and all other powers enabling him in that regard. The court said the practice directions are also aimed at ensuring that in all election matters, the parties focus on matters which are genuinely in issue. Justice Soho said it would minimize the time spent in dealing with interlocutory matters, ensure that the possibility of amicable settlement is explored before the parties go into a hearing, and minimize undue adjournment and delays in the conduct of matters. He also said that it was in line with the Constitution, the Electoral Act 2026 and other applicable laws. To ensure speedy dispensation of justice, the Chief Justice said an electronic mail and other electronic means may be employed by the court to inform counsel of urgent court and case events.
Wife of Olubadan of Ibadan, Queen Rashidat Ladoja, has expressed her unflinching support for the ongoing annual Egungun Festival in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, describing it as an important part of Yoruba culture heritage which should be preserved and celebrated peacefully. Queen Ladoja made this known in an interview in Ibadan. The wife of Olubadan, who is also a lawyer, said Ibadan Egungun Festival is a symbol of unity, cultural identity and respect for the traditions which has been in existence from time immemorial. She, however, urged all the masquerades, their followers and residents to conduct themselves responsibly throughout the celebration, stressing that the festival should be an avenue for showcasing the rich cultural values of the Ibadan people rather than violence or disrupting public peace. According to her, it is a well-known fact that Kabiyesi Olubadan of Ibadan land, Oba Rashidi Ladoja, is a lover of peace who embraces all religions and other adherents. Therefore, preservation of our cultural heritage should complement our harmonious relationship, mutual respect and development as a city and people. Queen Rashida Ladoja appealed to parents, particularly mothers, to prevail on their children on the need to always shun violence in the society, saying the children and youths of today would grow to be leaders tomorrow and contribute meaningfully to the development of Ibadan land and the country at large. The annual Egungun Festival in Ibadan, which usually attracts Ibadan indigenes, tourists and many culture enthusiasts, also serves as an event to showcase the rich customs, traditions and colorful display of Ibadan masquerades.
The Zonal Director, Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria FRCN Ibadan Zonal Station, Mr. Olufemi Fulani, has advised members of staff to prioritize regular medical checkups for healthy living. Mr. Fulani gave the advice at the inauguration of the upgraded FRCN staff clinic in collaboration with Rotary Clubs in Ibadan, held at the Broadcasting House, Dugbe, Ibadan. The Zonal Director said for members of staff to discharge their duties diligently, they needed to be healthy and be in good frame of mind. Mr. Fulani, who appreciated the Rotary Clubs for the partnership, urged members of staff to utilize the upgraded facility in their best interest.
My advice is we should use the equipment well. Whatever they have given us does not belong to them. So it's we that are going to use it. So we should use it well.
The President of President Unite for Good President Rotary Club District 912 seats, Oyo State, Rotarian Adewale Adeshino, noted that the project was a way of giving back to the society by the club.
We are here today to commission the upgrading clinic for Radio Nigeria, which has been done by 12 Club in Ibadan that put us together to upgrade the clinic for the use of all staff in Radio Nigeria and also in its environment.
District Governor, Rotary District 9126, Rotarian Batife Funkeapo, said the project was also born out of the desire to meet the healthy needs of members of staff of FRC and Ibadan Zonal Station. Also speaking, the Chief Nursing Officer of the station, Mrs. Abosede Emmanuel, expressed joy that the project was done during our tenure. Our correspondent reports that the ceremony was attended by a committee of management of the station, as well as members of staff and members of Rotary Clubs in Ibadan.
Reactions have continued to trail the planned establishment of state police in Nigeria. Radio Nigeria correspondent Amos Ogunride sampled the opinions of community and religious leaders in Okoyo State and Ejigbo, Osun State.
The Senate last week passed the Constitutional Amendment Bill seeking to establish state police in Nigeria after the House of Representatives had earlier passed the bill on June 10. Following its passage by the National Assembly, the bill will be transmitted to the state houses of assembly, where at least 24 state legislatures must approve it before it will be sent to President Bola Tinubu for assent. In an interview, the cleric in charge of the First Baptist Church, Oku, Dr. Thomas Kolade, said the establishment of state police would help address the security challenges confronting the country.
One of the policies that personally will help the security by this time around is that issue of the state policing. It it will really help seriously. Because by the time we know each other, by the time we know that these policemen, this caliber of these people, they belong to us, those people will really help us in the times of the security that we are talking about now.
Dr. Kolade, who noted that the establishment of state police was long overdue, however, cautioned state governors against abusing the system.
That's my fear, personally, to God who made me. Because if care is not taken, the issue we practice our police in our country, it looks somehow. That's the only fear. But we are trusting God that God will really help. If these governors or the political parties will not hijack this issue of the police, state policing, it will really help seriously.
Also, our community leader in Oku, Oyo State, Elder Gabriel Akinola, pointed out that the establishment of state police would create employment opportunities for Nigerians.
The creation of state police is a welcome development. People have been agitating for it for a long time. Now that both the upper and the lower houses have approved of it, we are looking forward to it becoming a success.
Elder Akinola, however, called for adequate funding of the state police when established to ensure it achieves its intended purpose. On his part, another community leader in the Jibu, Osun State, Elder John Ukedoyi, commended members of the National Assembly for approving the bill and called on the state houses of assembly to expedite action on it. The community leader was of the opinion that recruitment should not be based solely on academic certificates, but should prioritize individuals of proven integrity, especially those who are familiar with the terrains in which they will serve.
In terms of recruitment, people should be well aware that local people who know the in and out of every nooks and crannies of the community must be employed.
Elder Ukedoyi implored the relevant authorities to subject prospective recruits to psychiatric evaluation. In Oku, Oyo State, Amos Ogunrinde, Radio Nigeria.
Some students of Osun State University Uni Osun Osogbo campus were reportedly subjected to an ugly ordeal after some newly recruited Nigerian Army personnel allegedly invaded their hostels yesterday night and assaulted the male and female students. Report says the recruits were said to be from the Nigerian Army Depot in Osogbo had earlier visited areas around the student community under the guise of relaxing at entertainment centers. According to witnesses' account, some of the recruits harassed young men in the area and demanded money transfers into designated bank accounts. The situation later escalated when the recruit allegedly stormed about 20 student hostels, including Crystal Lag and Kings and Queens hostels, where they reportedly unleashed violence on the occupants. Some female students alleged that they were forced to strip and were sexually assaulted, while male students claimed they were beaten. Some alleged that their mobile phones and other valuables were stolen during the incident. Reacting to the incident, the Vice-Chancellor of Uni Osun, Professor Clement Adeboye, condemned the incident. Meanwhile, the students of the Osogbo main campus of Uni Osun today trooped out in their numbers in protest against the alleged attacks by the recruits. They staged a protest along Iboken Road, Osogbo, displaying placards with inscriptions including "Nigerian Army personnel should stop harassing us. Our girls are not safe. We say no to army brutality," among others.
A federal high court in Abuja admitted activist and former presidential candidate Omoyele Sowore a fresh bail in the sum of 200 million naira weeks after revoking his earlier bail over his failure to appear for trial. Justice Muhammad Umar in a ruling directed Sowore to provide two sureties before the bail would take effect. One of the sureties must be a traditional ruler from his community, while the second must own landed property within the Federal Capital Territory. The judge also ordered the defendant to deposit his international passport with the court registrar pending the determination of his case. After granting the application, Justice Umar handed Sowore over to his lawyers and adjourned further proceedings till Monday, July 6, when the defendant is expected to open his defense. Sowore is being prosecuted by the Department of State Services on allegations bordering on cybercrime following social media posts in which he allegedly referred to President Bola Tinubu as a criminal. He has denied the allegations and pleaded not guilty.
Staff of the Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria FRCN Ibadan Zonal Station, friends and relatives have paid glowing tribute to the late Mr. Gabriel Ono Onofurume, describing him as a dedicated, humble and hard-working professional whose legacy will remain evergreen. The tribute program, held at Studio One Broadcasting House, Dugbe, Ibadan, was attended by members of the Committee of Management, COM, retired and serving members of staff of Radio Nigeria, friends and family members of the deceased. In his welcome address, the Zonal Director, Ibadan Zonal Station, Mr. Olufemi Fulan, described the late Gabriel Ono Onofurume as a diligent and industrious officer who lived a fulfilled life through his commitment to duty and service.
He's a gentleman. He's a thoroughbred professional. I remember when I met him in Abuja, we discussed a lot. He lament the rate of professionalism as it's coming down. So the professional to the top. And we miss him, we miss advice, we miss the professionals.
Also speaking, former Zonal Director FRCN but Zonal Station, Mrs. Bolatito Joseph, alongside the former Director New Media, Pastor Dari Olorunfemi, Deputy Director News and Current Affairs, Mr. Adewumi Faniro, Deputy Director New Media, Mr. Shola Agbola, and other members of management described the deceased as courageous, dependable, and always ready to defend anyone who was unfairly treated. Some of them noted that Mr. Onofurume was a seasoned media professional, highly responsible, respectful, and an excellent producer whose contributions to the corporation would be greatly missed.
He was highly resourceful, highly articulate, highly organized, a good producer.
If somebody had told me that Gabriel will die in the next 20 years, I would ask a question, what will kill him? Because he happened to be a very strong person, very courageous and a caring person who fights for anybody that he feels has been treated wrongly.
When he was alive, he was my Oga in the programs department, and he did not behave as an Oga. Very, very respectful.
In separate interviews of two of his children, Ono Onofurume and Ogenemere Onofurume said their father would always be remembered for the remarkable legacy left behind.
Taught us everything we know right now, how to be tough in this world, how to be decisive, how to be honest. The important thing in this life for me, just like my father, is to be a good person and impact positively in people's life.
Right now, everything around me just keeps reminding me of him, and I applaud his strength. That's one thing I observed about him. His strength, his resilience, despite battling the illness. I saw how he held on strongly to faith, and he fought so hard. So that also taught me a great lesson.
They described him as a loving, caring, and dedicated father whose values, guardians, and sacrifices positively shaped their lives. They added that his exemplary life and cherished memories would continue to inspire them for generations. Mr. Gabriel Ono Onofurume died on May 3rd, 2026. He is survived by his wife, children, and grandchildren. Highlight of the tribute was the presentation of heartfelt testimonies by colleagues, friends, and family members celebrating a life of service, integrity, and excellence.
This is the world today, the stories that made the headlines. President Tinubu has approved 27 road projects across 15 states. Federal High Court has issued new practice directions for pre-election cases, and still to come in the news, UK to charge asylum seekers £10,000 before settlement, and South Africa deploys police as anti-migrant protests loom. Do stay with us, don't go anywhere.
Glad to know you're still there, still listening to World today. Now, picking up from the foreign scene. The United Kingdom government has introduced new reforms that will require asylum seekers who can afford it to pay around $10,000 towards the £10,000, I beg your pardon, towards the cost of their housing and financial support before they can apply for settlement in Britain. The Home Office announced the measures on its X-handle, stating that migrants expected to contribute would need to pay the amount to become eligible for indefinite leave to remain. Under the proposed rule, those who leave the UK would also be required to settle and any outstanding dues if they wish to return. Payments are intended to be means tested with options of monthly contributions or deductions before benefit, as well as safeguards to prevent individuals from being left destitute.
Several anti-illegal immigration groups in South Africa have taken to the streets to protest against undocumented black foreign nationals in the country. The protest came as the deadline given to all undocumented black foreigners to vacate the country or face dire consequences elapses today. In Durban, protesters gathered at King Dinuzulu Park before marching through the city streets to voice their frustrations over irregular migration. Several people were also seen in Tembisa, Mthatha, Mukani, Komani, and other cities in the country, holding placards bearing various inscriptions, including "It's time to stand together." The protesters accused the South African government of protesting black foreigners at the expense of their own citizens in the country. And meanwhile, the country's Minister of Justice, Mamoloko Bukumai, urged protesters to be peaceful and law-abiding, acknowledging the rights of all South Africans to protest and express their frustrations. She, however, said the government is constitutionally mandated to maintain law and order in the country.
And now to sport. Morocco became the first African country to qualify for the round of 16 of the 2025 FIFA World Cup after beating the Netherlands 3-2 on penalty in the round of 32. Morocco went behind on the 72nd minute before scoring in the 91st minute to drag the game to extra time. After nothing could separate both sides, the game went to penalty shootout and Morocco edged the Netherlands 3-2 to knock the Dutch out of the tournament. Later today, Cote d'Ivoire will take on Norway, while France will battle Sweden.
Stakeholders in school sports have identified grassroots competitions as the foundation for discovering future champions. The stakeholders stated this in a separate interview with Radio Nigeria correspondent Olusegun Folarin was at the Secondary School Sports Festival in Abeokuta, Ogun State, where they described age cheating as a major threat to Nigeria's sporting future.
In today's Heart of the Matter, Fumilola Obagbayegun of our current
School sports remain the foundation of sport development in Nigeria by providing the earliest platform for identifying, nurturing, and developing young talents. Several Nigerian athletic stars, including Mary Onyali, Blessing Okagbari, Eze Brume, Tobi Amushon, and Falilat Ogunkoya, began their careers through school sports. Stakeholders, however, say age falsification continues to undermine the credibility of school sports by giving unfair advantage to overaged competitors and deny genuine young athletes opportunity to develop their talent. A sport administrator, Mr. Lukman Balogun, urged schools and competition organizers to prioritize genuine talent discovery over the desire to win medals and stressed the need for collective action to eliminate age falsification in school sports.
If we are still competing for winning and winning alone, I believe we cannot get there.
Sport coordinator of Abeokuta South Local Government Secondary Schools, Comrade Abiodun Abioye, and his counterpart from Ewekoro Local Government, Ari B. Benson, noted that age cheating had continued to deny many young and deserving athletes the opportunity to develop their potentials.
To all the sport masters in school, let us be faithful to make sure we put the right head in the right hole. By so doing, we discover raw talent that won't have to struggle with their age, falsification, and all that.
There's no way we can discover talent without doing the inter-sport.
Also speaking, the principal of Ansarudin Grammar School, Ishagarili, Mrs. Ogunpola Adebola, appealed to parents and teachers to work together in identifying, mentoring, and nurturing talented students through regular coaching and school competitions.
It's good that we are grooming them, we are catching them young, so that by the time they were able to represent
affect us in the state, in national, and even international.
In a reaction, the chairman of the Southwest Zone of Nigeria School Sports Federation, Comrade Okeleye Olarotimi, describes school sports as the bedrock of national sports development.
Monitor those athletes, those students. We will not just leave them like that. We even do monitor them to the university level.
The stakeholders expressed confidence that regular grassroots competitions backed by credible age verification and sustained government support will produce more athletes capable of representing Nigeria with distinction at continental and global competitions. In Abeokuta, Olusegun Folarin, Radio Nigeria.
In today's Heart of the Matter, Fumilola Obagbayegun of our Current Affairs Unit writes on reviving moribund industries to tackle unemployment rate.
Unemployment remains one of Nigeria's most pressing socioeconomic challenges. Millions of young people enter the labor market annually with limited opportunities for gainful employment, while successive governments have introduced various job creation initiatives. A more sustainable solution lies in reviving the numerous moribund industries scattered across the country. In the past, industries such as textile mills, paper factories, steel plants, vehicle assembly plants, and agro-processing companies provided employment for thousands of Nigerians. These industries also stimulated local economics, encouraged skills development. Unfortunately, many of them collapsed due to poor infrastructure, inconsistent government policies, inadequate power supply, corruption, and competition from imported products. The consequences of industrial decline have been severe as thousands of workers lost their jobs, while many communities that depend on these industries suffer economic hardship. The rising unemployment rate has also contributed to poverty, crime, social unrest, and migration as young people search for better opportunities elsewhere. Reviving moribund industry offers a practical pathway to addressing these challenges. When factories resume operations, they create direct employment opportunities for engineers, technicians, machine operators, administrators, and other skilled and unskilled workers beyond direct jobs. Numerous indirect opportunities emerge through supply chains, transportation, marketing, and support services. To achieve this, government must create an enabling environment for industrial growth, stable electricity supply, and improved transportation networks. Access to more affordable credits and favorable tax policies are essential. Public-private partnerships can also attract investors willing to rehabilitate abandoned industrial facilities and introduce modern technology. Furthermore, local government policies should be strengthened to encourage the consumption of goods produced within Nigeria. Protecting local industries from unfair foreign competition while ensuring quality standards can help them regain competitiveness and profitability. The revival of industries should also be accompanied by investment in technical and vocational education, as this will ensure that the workforce possesses the skills required by modern industries and can adapt to changing technological demands. Countries that have successfully industrialized demonstrate that manufacturing remains a key driver of economic growth and employment. Nigeria possesses abundant natural resources, a large domestic market, and a youthful population that can support industrial expansion if properly harnessed. Reviving moribund industry is not merely an economic necessity, but a national imperative. It offers a sustainable strategy for reducing unemployment.
The script on reviving moribund industries to tackle unemployment rate was written by Fumilola Obagbayegun of our Current Affairs Unit. It was read by Ariola Dada.
And that's it on the World Today. To join us tomorrow for a fresh edition of the program. Lilian Ibomo edited. My name is Olubukola Inimola. Thanking you for your time.
I am Dayo Adinuga. Enjoy the rest of the day.